Hello everyone and welcome to Scorched Earth Toys at anymoon.com's review of Bandai's 160 scale DX VF 25A Renewal toy. There is no VF 25A version 1 toy. This toy was released in October 2013 for 14,000 yen. It comes with a replacement head laser made out of firmer plastic in case the PVC one is warped on you, a pilot figure that has a little bit of the same brown trim on his flight suit, a dagger, 3 sets of exposed hands, although one of those sets is the knife hand set that you would probably only use in fighter mode, a gun in the Ozma color. It's not exactly anime accurate, but it looks better than anime accurate, and a display stand. I'm going to be a little more thorough than I've been on my recent VF25 releases, even though this is a standard release, just to kind of recap some of the highlights. The VF25 Renewal toys have all the trappings of a deluxe toy you've come to expect. Here is the pilot figure I mentioned earlier. He's got not the best detail in the world, but certainly better than what we saw in the version 1 Bandai offerings. The cockpit opens. It helps if you pinch a little bit inward as you open it, as it's got 2 little teeth on the outside, and that will allow you to fit the pilot in. Easier if you don't have lights in front of you. So that would allow the pilot to sit in the seat. You can also pop up this little compartment in the back. This is better for other VF25 toys that come with a co-pilot. And fold back the seat, and you've now got a 2-seater VF25 toy. These toys also have intake covers that are removable and reveal turbines. The turbine detail is not painted, which is definitely a shortcoming of the Renewal toys. And in some of the Renewal toys, that's just left white or green. It's not very attractive. The rear landing gears, all landing gears are integrated. The rear landing gears feature a lock forward. They have spinning rubber wheels. The front landing gear has an articulated tow bar. They collapse inward. The toy looks very clean. It's very close to line art accurate. Check out anymoon.com and I'll show you several comparisons. Alright, let's look at the gun now. The gun, I'll get into its expansion in a moment. It attaches in fighter mode. You have to pop the wings up, bring a leg down, maybe 2 legs. Give yourself a little bit of space between the arms. And then you just attach the handle to the arm and bring it back in. Again, always easier to do without lights in front of you. Bring your leg back down. You have to pinch this a little bit better. Bring your wings down. Clearly that leg is not in the correct position. There it goes. Now that's not in very particularly well, but there you have the gun attached in fighter mode. And now I can take my display stand that's included with the toy. Display stand is mediocre at best. It's obviously, there's no articulation to it. Not a whole lot you can do with it. But you can slide that gun through, and there are little pegs in the front that will attach and hook in. And now it's on there pretty securely. And makes a fine display piece as is. So fighter mode looks just like the anime. It holds together very well and pretty much sets the bar really high for your future modes. And I gotta say, I think Airwalk really lives up to it. The toy is once again extremely stable. Nothing's falling apart, nothing's sagging. There's a extension from the back of the toy that unites to the front, so this whole plane stays nice and stable. Your articulation is great. Notice how I've got the ankles tilted inward to be flat on the ground right now. That's kind of articulation we just didn't see years ago. The arm can come all the way up. It's got, you know, everything you could really want this thing to be doing, it does do. My one little nitpick would be the arms. It would be nice if the shoulder piece right here latched in so you can move the arms without that piece moving as it is. You might want to use 2 hands to articulate the toy a little bit to keep that one piece if a little gap there is going to really annoy you. Another little feature they've added on this swing arm, there's a little gun clip. So you can use this middle slot here to attach to that clip. And now you've got the gun attached in gearwalk mode underneath the toy. So articulation's good. Obviously you can get a very aggressive pose. Toy holds together. Toy looks great. So far, obviously very high marks for the Renewal VF25 toys. Alright, here is gearwalk mode on that mediocre stand that comes with the toy again. As you can see, you can use the stand with the gun attached to that lower clip. Works out just fine. You could also obviously have the gun in the more natural position of being in the gearwalk mode hand of the toy. While we're here, let's take a moment to look at one of the gimmicks. You have this shield, which has a door that collapses. This door is where your hands are stowed in fighter mode, and then collapses so it can fit tight on the arm. You also have this door here that opens up and allows you to take the dagger that's included with the toy, slide it in, and close it. So now that dagger is stowed for Batroid and gearwalk modes. Alright, let's continue on to Batroid mode. Finally, we have Batroid mode. Transformation of this toy is incredibly simple from fighter to gearwalk mode. It's also pretty simple from gearwalk to Batroid mode, although the neck, chest area can give some people some fits, especially your first couple times through it. It's a little more unnerving because it's possible to scratch some paint when you do that, but otherwise it is a very simple, fluid transformation with things locking together. Just that one little area that's a little questionable. Alright, I mentioned earlier that the gun features some gimmicks. You pull out the gun's handle, and that unlocks it, so you can extend the gun outward, and then bring down this area here. It'll fit through. The swing arm fits through a slot, and then you get to this, the opened gun position. You can push that grip back up, so now it's nice and stable. I also mentioned earlier that the toy comes with some fixed posed hands. Here's the gripping the gun version. It's an incredibly tight fit. I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways. There you go. So there you go. Nice and snug on there. I should also mention the articulated hands do an excellent job of gripping that gun. So I really think the fixed posed hands are almost gratuitous for this toy. Especially one where you're gripping the gun, because it already does a good job with that. So as you can see, just pop out the hand, pop in the new hand, and there you have it. Now you might be looking at this toy and thinking, isn't that the same as Michael's VF25G? What is the difference between a VF25G and a VF25A? In the toy universe, it's what the toy comes with. You don't get the sniper rifle, and you don't get the grappling hooks. You also don't get the blue Michael paint scheme. I believe the in-universe answer is that the VF25G has different sensor array and those grappling hooks. Alright, so Batroid mode. I've mentioned before that articulation is great on these toys. You have a waist point. You have ball joints at the hips. The hip can get a little tight with this swing arm here and the peak of the intake. So you're going to have to watch that as you handle the toy. But otherwise, you know, it is a ball joint. You can do all sorts of stuff. You still have that intake gearwalk joint. You can extend the legs. This is a gearwalk extension. And then you have a twist point. You want to make sure you extend the legs before you try to twist, because otherwise you might damage this little peak on the leg. Then you have the ball joints and the ankles I alluded to earlier with gearwalk and how it was able to stand flat. The arm can come out from the shoulder area and down, and then there's a twist point there, and I've already shown you that you have the double jointed elbow that lets you come way up. The head's on a ball joint as well, so you can have a lot of fun with that. And just in general, this toy is a lot of fun to pose. For some reason, I really dig this paint scheme as well. I don't know why, maybe it just looks a little more militaristic than most, but I have been having a good time with my VF25A. All right, let me show you what it looks like on the display stand. Alright, so of the Renewal toys, the VF25A comes with the least amount of accessories. It's also the least heroic of the Valkyries that have been released by Bandai so far. So you could probably look for it on sale during this holiday season and score a good bargain on it. I would have my doubts if Bandai will reissue, so if it's something that grabs you, certainly you should take advantage of it while you can get it for less than MSRP, which again was 14,000 yen. Overall, I am a big fan of the Renewal toys. They're not the same level of quality that you'd find on like the Yamato version 2 VF1 toys. Not quite the fit and finish that those toys had. And they do have some durability issues around the paint, especially the tip of the nose, or well, not the tip of the nose, but the tip behind the nose that hides below the head in Batroid mode. So that's something to be a little concerned of. When using the display stand, you can't really use that waist pivot, just something to note. I have lots of reviews, including an evolution from V1 to V2 that goes into a little thoroughly why these toys are considered to be so much more superior to their original offerings. All right, check out anymoon.com for the full article. And as always, thanks for viewing.